What is up, my rebels? Mystic Umbreon 94 here, and today I have a Pokemon ORAS Wi-Fi battle with my friend DemonicKiddo. This is a very, very fun battle. I know I haven't posted a Wi-Fi battle in a while, but I do apologize. My only thing from posting Wi-Fi battles was the quality from my camera. It's good, but I would have rather just gotten a capture card. This actually is not my capture card. This is actually DemonicKiddo's capture card. He's a very, very cool guy. He does Pokemon videos. He does LPs, mainly FFAs and battles. His buddy does some really, really cool GFX for him. His channel looks really, really professional. If you guys like entertainment, kind of like we do on our channel, you guys would love DemonicKiddo. So I'd totally recommend giving this guy a check out. He's very cool. But before let's get into this Wi-Fi battle. I know I'm kind of like stuttering today. It's because I've redone this recording like a couple times. But anyways, you guys, he leads off with his Aerodactyl. I predicted that leading off with my Starmie. And I knew the first thing here was he'd probably withdraw, and I was right. I went for the Scald anyway, just because, you know, Scald has a chance to burn it. It can really cripple up some physical attackers. So I go for the Scald on his Kingdra. Kingdra, unfortunately, does not get burned, but I knew that I really didn't have much to touch this thing, so I decided to swap out, and I swap out into my Woody, aka my Trevenant. Now this set is very, very cool. It's very, very irritating. It has some really awesome moves. I'm not going to spoil any of the movesets for this thing because I want you guys to see for yourself like how ferocious this thing really is. But he actually goes for the Dragon Dance, and he swaps out knowing that he really can't touch me. So he actually does he actually does a pretty smart play here and actually swaps out to his Umbreon. Now, I didn't predict him to switch, but I went for the Curse because Curse, you know, it can really fucking cripple a Pokemon if you know how to use it properly. And if you time it, I kind of did predict it, I kind of didn't predict it. I mean, either way, you know, Curses is going to be able to do damage. When I usually Wi-Fi battle, I usually go for the most logical move, the one that's going to benefit me, and the one that's going to least benefit him. And it's actually a pretty good method. It actually works for me. But I go for Protect, as he goes for the Toxic. Nothing works. So he actually gets some more Luffy's Recovery. Curse does a little bit more damage. I'm not really good at commenting on Wi-Fi battles. I'm sorry, you guys. But I go for Harvest. I get my berry back. I decide I don't really want to take a payback to the face. So this is actually a good time for me to switch out to my Sama Sensei, aka my Mienshao. This thing is very, very powerful. I think he went for payback just because, you know, he wanted to do some damage to any incoming Pokemon coming in or to get super effective damage off on my Trevenant. But I didn't really want to stay with Trevenant because I didn't really want to get hurt. I knew I would need Trevenant for later. But right here, he's predicting the Fighting type attack. So he swaps out to his Top Notch, aka his Arcanine, which is actually a very, very nice play because this thing is actually a defensive set, and he's able to get off the attack drop on me. But I knew that he'd probably switch out, so I decided to go for Knockoff because I knew Knockoff would benefit anyway. It would benefit me, and it would, you know, fuck up one of the Pokemon on his team. So I swap out my Sama Sensei, and I go back out. I actually go out into my own Arcanine, predicting him to go for some kind of Fire-type attack. And he actually predicted that very nicely, and he actually goes for the Wild Charge. Doesn't really do much to my Arcanine because my Arcanine is a defensive set more than... my Arcanine is more of a... Actually, it does... His Arcanine is more of a defensive set, and mine's more of an offensive set, so my Arcanine is a little bit more damage. This is actually a Choice Band Arcanine set, your typical Gen 5 set. I haven't used Arcanine in quite a while. So he goes for Morning Sun, gets his HP back. I'm figuring, okay, you know what? I do not really want to stay here and, you know, stall this thing out. So I go into my Umbreon. I knew that this thing didn't really carry close combat because it was a defensive set, and I usually don't see close combat ran on defensive ones. So I thought Umbreon was the most logical play. But he actually goes into his own Umbreon, as I think I go for the... What do I go here for? I think I actually go for the... I actually switch it myself. I think No, I didn't predict him to switch. I swapped out. So now, my Sama Sensei is back out here on the field once again. I knew that he'd probably try and heal up his Pokemon. I can't remember... Okay, so he was around yellow HP. I knew that he'd probably try and heal up his Pokemon, so I thought that this would actually be... That opportunity was the perfect time to switch. So I think once again... I thought once again that he was actually going to predict me to go for the Fighting type attack. So I actually swap out to my Gem, predicting him to swap out to his Arcanine. But he actually switches out, and he actually swaps out into his Kingdra. So that was actually a really, really nice play on his part as well. But, you know, just in case, you know, he would have swapped out to another Pokemon, I decided to go for Psyshock because I knew that Psyshock would have done a lot of damage to either one of these guys for sure. But he actually goes for Outrage on my Starmie. Not quite enough to take me out yet. I wanted to save Starmie for later, and I didn't really want to take any damage from Life Orb. I think I probably would have been able to survive it, but, you know, just to be safe, I didn't want to... Actually, I swapped that because I didn't think that a Psyshock would actually be able to finish off this Kingdra. So I swapped that in my own Umbreon to take the Outrage hit, and I get more Luffy's recovery back. Oh yeah, Psyshock definitely wouldn't have been able to take it out. But now since he knows, you know, that he's confused, he doesn't really want to stay in for me to Toxic him and do all the other crap. So he actually swaps out into his Bomb Lever, aka his Chestnut. I decided to go for the payback anyways because, you know, you never know what they're going to do, and I thought that payback would actually be the most beneficial for me. I know I said I was going to go for Toxic, but I can't really remember like what I went for in this battle. I'm basically just going for like what I see on the screen. I kind of remember, I kind of don't. But he actually swaps out into his Storm, which I have no idea why. He is probably predicting me to swap out to my Arcanine, which is actually a really nice play, but instead I actually swap out to my Pidgeot, and now I swap back into my Umbreon again. Why I swapped out to Pidgeot, I have no idea. I can't remember why. Kind of an odd play I made yesterday, but we can't make the coolest plays all the time, right? Oh, and I think I remember why. I wanted to swap. I wanted to get my Umbreon out in the field, so he would actually go for a nice step attack or something like that. I don't even know. But Umbreon's back out in the field. Unfortunately, though, I did get the freeze hacks, so I'm sitting here like, gosh darn it, what am I gonna do now? It did like this battle so far has just turned into like a complete fucking stall fest. It is absolutely insane, like how bad this is turned into. But at this point in time, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, Umbreon, can you please unfreeze, man? I really need you to unfreeze so we can get this battle underway. I get more Luffy's recovery, and he goes for a Wild Charge. I think he was predicting me to switch out once again to my Arcanine, but I kind of just wanted to stand here and sack off my Umbreon, you know, just in case. You know, so I could get a clean swap, and my Umbreon actually unfreezes, which I was actually really surprised about. But with my attack drop with the Intimidate, I don't really do much damage to it. So right now he actually goes for Will-O-Wisp, burning my Umbreon, which actually cripples me by a landslide. Very nice play on his end. Synchronized doesn't work on him because he's also a Fire type. I go for Moonlight because I know that I'm going to need some HP back. Yum. Look at all that dazzling HP. More Luffy's recovery once again, and at this point in time, I'm debating whether or not I should switch out. But I think actually right here, so he's basically trying to do as much damage to me as he possibly can right now. Umbreon is taking hits like a beast though, and he's taking recoil damage as well, which is even actually better for me. I thought that this thing would have extreme speed, so I played it a little bit cautiously earlier when it came to keeping my Starmie in. That's why I swapped it out. And as usual, I get more Luffy's recovery back. I know I sound like a broken record. I'm not very good at commenting Wi-Fi battles, but I mean, I just think, you know, that they're fun to put on my channel. I'm actually going to get more into competitive battling once I get my capture card. But now, I swap out my Umbreon, and I'm going to swap out back into my Starmie, predicting him to go for a Morning Sun. And he actually does not go for it. He actually goes for another Flare Blitz, so pretty good play on his end. I thought that he was going to go for Morning Sun. That way I would just be able to come in here with a Skull and finish him off. So I over-predicted a little bit there, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. Happens to the best of us at times. I know, damn well for a fact, I've over-predicted a lot of times, and I've lost battles, but hey, you know what? Sometimes, you know, we just can't help it. But right now, I knew I could get a nice clean switch in here to Sama Sensei, do some really nice damage to any of the Pokemon that he pops in. And I go for the knockoff immediately. Does some really nice damage to Kingdra. Just in case, you know, like he had a rest set, I'd knock off his Chesterberry. But since Miancho does add speed and I get a lot of crits, unnecessary crit, down goes his Kingdra. It's one Pokemon down so far. Now he's actually going to swap out into his Aerodactyl. I was debating here whether or not I would outspeed. I take a little bit of time to actually make this decision, but I cannot remember if I actually outsped this thing or not. But I make a really ballsy play. He goes for Rock Slide, probably predicting me to switch out. Actually, no, I barely live with 2 HP. 2 HP. I think he was predicting me to switch out because he knew that I was probably going to need my Miancho for later. But I mean, I honestly, dude, kiddo, I was actually debating whether or not I was actually going to be able to outspeed your Aerodactyl, but I forgot that Aerodactyl is very quick, so if you wouldn't have gone for that Rock Slide and gone for a Flying type attack, I would have been fucked. Now, he swaps out to his Umbreon. I decided to switch out to my Pidgeot because I feel like now would actually be... Actually, no, I switch out again. Strange. I think at this point in time, I'm, you know, debating I want to try and save Pidgeot for later because Pidgeot is my Mega, and Pidgeot, as a Mega, Megas come in handy for later on in the battle when you're trying to pull off like a late game sweep. So I get some more Lefty's recovery back. He gets some more Lefty's recovery back, and at this point in time, I believe I go for the Moonlight. No, he actually goes for Heal Bell. Heal Bell gets some. Oh, that's right. He actually he cured up his Arcanine from the poisoning, which is actually not a bad play at all. I actually predicted him to go for Moonlight. Actually, I didn't even know what the hell I predicted. I think I predicted him to do attacking or like try and toxic predict me to switch out to something else. But I go for Moonlight, get him all my HP back. Unfortunately, though, I get hurt by burn damage, and he withdraws his Umbreon. Now, I can't remember exactly what I go for here. He goes for Top Notch once more. I think I go for Payback. Or do I switch out? I can't remember exactly what I do. What do I do here? Oh, so I actually go for Heal Bell. So now, actually, I get the burn off of my Umbreon. And, yeah. Get more Lefty's recovery back. And at this point in time, he can go for Flare Blitz and probably KO himself. But he actually withdraws his Arcanine. I think he was predicting me to switch out. What do I stand or do I can't remember exactly what I do here, but I actually go for Payback, because I'm trying to finish off this the Arcanine. He actually swaps back out into his Umbreon once again, and now we're back into like the same old predicament. Now right here, he gets more Leftovers recovery again. Great, a lot of Lefty's recovery in this battle too. Holy cow! But he actually withdraws his Umbreon once again. He loves to withdraw his Pokemon. But I mean, hey, you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do to win this battle. So once again, he swaps out to his Arcanine, trying to get more attack drops off on me. But I take this time to actually withdraw, and I think I go out into my own Arcanine, predicting him to switch out to his own Arcanine. So it isn't bad. Now I'm able to get in there and finish off this thing with an extreme speed. So I predicted that play very, very, very nicely. And the priority E speed comes in and is able to take it out. Gem is at around couple almost full HP, but I didn't think that extreme speed was going to be enough to take it out, and I know that Scald would actually do a lot of heavy damage to me. He actually goes for the Scald straight up because he wants that Arcanine dead, but I switched it to Umbreon because I knew that Umbreon really wasn't going to have much of a role in this battle later on. And Umbreon is a very, very excellent wall for UU, so that's why I usually bring it. I sometimes actually bring Vaporeons to my team. Vaporeon's a very, very good wall as well. But I knew that Umbreon wasn't really going to be needed for much longer, so I wanted to get this thing out of here so I could swap out into my Pidgeot so I could pull off some sweeps for later on in the late game, which you guys will see later on. It's very, very... This game is very, very stally. Like, Kiddo was telling me, and like earlier on, he's just like, ugh, there's too much stall, I couldn't handle it. So I'm like, okay. So at this point in time, he withdraws his Umbreon once again, and he swaps out to his Bomb Lever. And I can't exactly remember what I go for here. I think I go for the Toxic, and that is I'm able to put some status up on that thing. Now, whether or not at this point in time, I think I swap out into, what Pokemon I swap out to again? I can't remember exactly what I swapped into, but I knew that I would need Umbreon for late. Do I switch out? Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I did, but I swapped Umbreon out once again. And okay, now I remember what I did. I swapped out into my Woody because I was predicting the Flying type attack. So, he goes for Spike Shielding, not predicting me to attack him with Payback. I didn't exactly know what he was going to do, but I mean, Payback, Spike Shield's still a pretty good play. Now, he swaps out his Chestnut once again and goes for the Umbreon. Right here, once again, I go for Curse, trying to get as much damage off on this Umbreon as I possibly can. And I lose about half of my HP, because that's what Curse does to you. This set is actually very, very interesting. I'll tell you guys what I run. I run Phantom Force, Curse. Do I run Leech Seed on it? I can't remember if I do or not. I run Will-O-Wisp. I can't. Oh yeah. Protect, Will-O-Wisp, Curse, and Phantom Force. Very, very irritating set. And I go for Protect. Trying to stall this thing out as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to basically right now. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stall him out so I can switch out to my Pidgeot and finish him off with a Hurricane. Get some damage off on it, but right here, once again, I get off the Citrus Berry. I know I sound like a broken record. I'm bored to death commentating this battle. Holy cow, but this is really, really stally. He gets off Toxic once again, and I'm just playing you guys. I'm not bored of doing this. I'm just being sarcastic, but I go for Phantom Force. I think I was predicting him to switch out. Or, I was actually trying to do some damage to him at the same time as the curse stacks up. So I was actually trying to just do so much damage to it as I possibly could. I could easily go for Will-O-Wisp, but it would be a waste of time because all he would have to do is just go for a Moonlight. And he actually does go for Moonlight here. So once again, I swap out. I don't swap out yet, but I think I do. I go for the Phantom Force. Phantom Force hits. Look at that. It's such a cool animation, but it doesn't really do all that much damage. He gets more Luffy's recovery. I'm Toxic Tier. I'm wondering. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? This Umbreon is very, very bulky. I need to get rid of this thing somehow. Curse keeps on stacking up damage. It's actually looking really, really nice too so far. So now I swap out my Woody, and I believe I head out to my Pidgeot. I thought that now would actually be the perfect time for me to hop out into my Pidgeot and do some damage to this thing. Pidgeot is my Mega on this team, and it does a really, really good job. If you guys do not like Mega Pidgeot, there's something wrong with you immensely. Once again, he got some more Curse damage added up to him, and Curse damage is actually going to do a lot of damage to him. Holy crap, now he's around yellow. So right now, he actually withdraws his Umbreon, probably predicting me, to do a lot of damage to him. But right now, I immediately Mega Evolve into my Pidgeot, and right here, I do a Hurricane on this Starmie, and that is going to be a dead-ass Starmie for the win, ladies and gentlemen. Down it goes, and he has what, two more Pokemon left. He has an Umbreon. And right here, I believe I won. Actually, I think the reason why he swapped out his Umbreon was because he was started getting cursed. So right here, I just go for the Hurricane. It finishes my mascot is a beast. He barely lived with like 3 HP, 4 HP, whatever the hell you guys want to call it. My Umbreon, my mascot is a complete boss. That is why I love my mascot, and that's why you don't frick with my mascot, because my mascot is powerful. But right here, I actually swap out my Pidgeot, and I head out to my Arcanine. Right here, I think he goes for Payback, trying to get as much damage off me as he possibly can, because Payback would have actually done some pretty good damage to my Pidgeot if I would have went for a Hurricane on it. And I believe right here, I actually go for a Flare Blitz, because this thing is Choice Banded. I would go for Close Combat, but Close Combat really wouldn't do all that much damage against a Chestnut. And his final Pokemon, like I said before, his final Pokemon is a Chestnut. And right here, I just go for the Flare Blitz. I knew that he was going to go for Spiky Shield. Actually, I didn't think that he would go for Spiky Shield, but I didn't want him to predict my switch and him go for like Hammer Arm and like fucking up my Pidgeot, because I made a pretty good play. Now I'm able to go in here since he already used Spiky Shield, and I'm able to come in here nice and clean and get rid of this this Chestnut with a Hurricane. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is, I believe it's game. So, very, very good match with my friend DemonicKiddo. Be sure to check out his channel if you guys liked it. And yeah, it was a UU battle. I'm terrible at commentating with the battles. I just got done recording actually Blaze Black. So if you guys like this video, and you guys should definitely go check out DemonicKiddo. If you guys like this video, please be sure to fan tag the hell out of the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. More Wi-Fi battles are sure to come later on in the future. But as for now, keep it rebellious, guys. Peace out.